everybody!
Hey!
This is the inaugural video of That's What She Said, and I'm Katie.
I'm Kim.
And we are part of the Boardgame Mechanics channel, so many of you have been listening to my friend Joel, and also my husband Jason, who's Kim's friend as well. So they have been running the Boardgame Mechanics for, I don't know, about a month?
A month or so? Yeah, it's been a very exciting month, really.
It's been amazing. We've gotten shout outs from game designers and from my husband's favorite dude, Rado.
There were smelling salts involved
afterwards.
So thanks, Rado.
Yeah, he was fanboying out, Rado, I gotta tell you. He's planning a trip to Malta to come hang out with you. So we wanted to try and do something a little bit different. The guys do their podcast, and that's great. You've seen some unboxings from my husband. You've seen some game spotlights, and those will keep coming. But Kim and I kind of want to add to the Boardgame Mechanics and do something a little different. So
we're first going to kind of let you know who we are so you can get an idea of what kind of games that we like. So we're going to go through our top 25. We're probably going to break it into a couple of segments unless we talk super fast. So we'll see how that goes. We love games and we talk a lot, so it's probably going to be too soon.
Although we do talk kind of quickly in general.
Yes, so if you have to back it up and listen again, that's okay.
Slow-mo, half speed. It will be a little more understandable.
Yes, but Katie, you're really the one that got me into board games. So we've known each other for enough time. I'm not giving away my age to tell you how long I've known Katie. But we hung out with them from working together, and they had all these crazy games that we've never heard of before. So I think one of the first ones I ever played was Kill Dr. Lucky. And I'm like, what is this? So it has spiraled into, as you can see, Katie's game collection, and we have one probably similar in size at home.
Right.
And this is what we do most of the time, is we hang out and we play games. So we wanted to share that love with you guys.
And that's how you know who your real friends are. Like Kim and her husband Jim, like we actually kind of split game libraries. So if we own something, Kim won't buy it, or if they own something, we won't get it either. So
because you're like, I'll basically just borrow yours, and so then I don't have to spend the money. I'm gonna go buy this other game that we like. So
right.
So we are actually going to work on our top 25 here. We had a small visitor.
Yeah, we're here at the Easter. Is this the East Studio?
I don't know. We do now though, because Joel had said we have more studios than we have contributors. I think we're even now. But Ohio was winning. No, I guess we're even. We have two because you and Jason clearly live at the same house.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we at least have 4 studios and 4 contributors, so I guess we're evening things out a little bit.
We're the southern studio, because you guys are kind of you're further east than we are.
Not by much. I mean, we're like a half hour away.
Yeah.
So
this is the southern studio. So the southern studio is populated by small children who occasionally wander in. So we'll see how this goes. So we're going to go our top 25, kind of highlight some games, talk about them, kind of go back and forth so you get an idea of what we like. Yeah, what we like. And
we'll probably do some game spotlights on these afterwards, especially the ones, once you start capping my top 10 or so, those are the ones I probably want to share. And you will see that our top 10s are nothing alike.
So different.
In fact, we compared the list beforehand, and most of her top 10 are on the very bottom of my list.
She hates all my games.
So it's because I am terrible at social deduction. Apparently I'm a terrible liar. I guess, go me. And I don't like deception games. I don't like trying to find whoever Scotland Yard. That one does nothing for me. I'm sick of chasing that stupid guy around. And I don't know where he is. I'm out of it. So
it makes me sound like I'm a terrible person. I like games where you have to lie and cheat and.
Everyone knows my tell immediately. Sheriff of Nottingham. Kim's lying. She's totally got cheese in there instead of roosters.
It's true.
So we'll start with your number 25, and then we will hop back over.
So my number 25 game, Kim does not like.
It's way at the bottom.
It's way at the bottom list. But I am convinced if she played it again, and she wasn't tired and cranky,
and cranky,
she would really like it. So
angry.
My number 25 game is called My Star. This is a little small box game. Came out in 2010, so it's been out for quite a while. And it's Japanese designer, Japanese-based game. AEG put it out. I think Jason and I picked this up when we were at probably Origins.
I feel like it was an Origins pickup. I seem to remember.
Yeah, because I know they run like great deals at Origins. A lot of times AEG when they're there, and you can get a bunch of like their small games for maybe $5 a pop.
We did that. Yeah, we bought an entire collection of AEG games the last time we were there, and so
yes, I have a bunch of them. And My Star is my favorite. So you are geishas, and each geisha has certain kind of qualities that they're good at. So either they're good at service, or they're good at entertaining, or they're very witty. And so then you're trying to get customers to...
you're just going to serve them tea. Those kind of customers.
Well, geishas were not prostitutes.
Okay.
So you are trying to bring these customers in. Well, you can also get you can use these cards in multiple ways, which I think is really cool about this game. So they can either be your customers if you meet kind of their qualifications, or you can use them to advertise for you, and they help improve your
blocking billboards,
your wit, yes, or your service. And so they're helping you improve as a geisha, and you can get more customers that way. It's a simple game, but
it's a little game too. Like it's a chuck in your bag, take somewhere.
Yes.
And it didn't take a lot of time to play.
No, it doesn't. And which she was heavy because she was ready to go home and go sleep. It was like three rounds, and so you're trying to get rid of your cards, be the first one without a hand. But every time you use a person to advertise to help kind of build up your geisha's talents, you have to redraw a card. However, if you can use them as a customer, they get out of your hand, and then they have special powers that can add cards to the people's hands. So it's how you kind of keep yourself from getting more cards. So it's just a fun multi-use card.
I'll give it another try. I can't we'll see next year if it moves.
It's going to move up.
It's like 115 on my list.
It's going to move up. It's going to break the top 75.
I don't know.
75. So that's my number 25, My Star.
So my number 25, totally different. A lot of you probably have heard of it. It's Pandemic. So I probably don't have to go into a lot of description about this. You're saving the world from terrible diseases.
Now, is this straight up Pandemic?
This is straight up Pandemic. Okay. Now, we do have the Legacy version, and I'll be honest, I was terrified of a Legacy game until we tried Charterstone, because I'm like, it's like writing in a textbook. I couldn't do that either in school. You're breaking the rules. You're tearing up cards. I was really uncomfortable.
That whole deception lying thing that you're bad at.
I'm like,
it's also bad at writing.
So, this is straight out Pandemic from Z-Man Games, Matt Leacock, designer. And it's been a fun game. It's one that my husband and I have played 2 players. We have not been super successful beating that game.
No.
But I think that's the drive that makes you go back. So you're fighting these outbreaks as they go across the world, trading ingredients, trying to find a cure before the entire world is lost into chaos and everyone's plagued and dead. Super uplifting.
This one is...
I'm surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually surprised that it is as high as it is.
That is really high. It's not even on my list of top 100, but I don't own this game.
I think we've only brought it over a couple of times.
And I've played it one time.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
No, I own the Legacy version. So I played it. I played it without the Legacy, and I just played it regular. And it was fine. I just don't generally like cooperative games.
She says that, but if you see that, there's a lot on there.
I know.
But I have heard now the one I want to try is Season 2. Pandemic Legacy Season 2, I hear, is amazing and good for 2 players. Because our struggle with Season 1 Legacy is, well, I feel like we probably won about 4 players, and when we first got that game, it was hard to consistently get.
Yeah.
Now we have Charterstone, we meet all the time. Win, Jamie. So that's my number 25, Pandemic.
All right, my number 24 is a game that I actually could have 2 games. They're very similar that could sit at number 24, but I chose Thebes.
I like this game a lot.
Thebes came out in 2007. It is Peter Prince, who I believe he's German, if I'm not mistaken. And Queen Games put this out, and my husband really enjoys a lot of Queen games.
So we have a lot of fun games.
We have a lot of Queen games. And they go on sale regularly, so Queen Games, thank you for making...
I got this one on a stellar deal.
Affordable. Yeah, we did too.
I got this one on a stellar deal.
At a steal.
I'm surprised I'm surprised this is not our first crossover. And I think maybe I just haven't played it enough that it didn't move up the list higher, but it's crazy fun.
We have played this a lot. So it's got this great archaeology theme, so you kind of have that Indiana Jones feel. So there's these dig sites that you can go to, but you first want to gather some knowledge. So you go on to these different places in the world, gathering knowledge about, Palestine or Greece or Crete, and then you go and actually dig. And so to kind of simulate, which I think is so thematically great about this, you have these bags and you reach in to draw tiles out of. Well, they're like,
and you'll see I love tiles.
Circular pieces of cardboard.
It's still fun because you're like rummaging around going, oh, be something good.
Be something good. So there's not only artifacts in there, but there's also just complete dirt.
Yeah, you just get dirt. Story of my life.
And so it's really thematic in the fact that you could just get dirt, because when you're digging an archaeology site, sometimes you get nothing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you find, I don't know, a whole pot.
Yeah, and you want to try to be the first one there because everything's still in the bag.
Right.
So if you wait till further in the game, some of the good stuff, like you have to start looking to see what everybody else has taken.
Right.
Because it may not even be worth going to dig there anymore.
But you've got more knowledge the longer you wait. And so then you're leveraging time because it's actually moving by weeks how long you dig. So I think this is pretty cool. Theme is awesome. I love that overlay in this. I just think it's a really fun game. So my number 24 is Thebes.
I like that one. Oddly enough, I have very similar 24 and 25. I don't know how this happened. Pandemic the Cure is my number 24, which is a lot like Pandemic. Oddly enough, with dice. And I'm really bad with dice. Oh, yeah. Dice hate me. I will swear by that till my dying day. But this was a fun one just because it had that different mechanic that you're trying to roll the die to get all the things that you need. So
like put together cures and stuff.
Yeah, so this was another one that my husband and I play, so still Z-Man Games, and it's still Matt Leacock. Sorry. So yeah, and since we already talked about Pandemic, it's the same concept, but with dice. And again, I'm surprised that, one, they fell right one after the other.
That's weird.
And that I'm terrible at dice rolling games. I mean, I like them, but
I think sometimes with like a game like Pandemic Cure, the dice version of it helps speed the game along in certain ways.
This one's faster, I think, and a little bit easier necessarily. I think to play with others. I think regular Pandemic can get a little overwhelming with. Yeah. They're still. I think they're fairly simple to teach. Both of them are. So I promise that's the end of the Pandemic list. I haven't played any other ones. We'll move past that.
I don't have any Pandemic in mind.
So yeah,
my number 23 is a game that is actually the oldest game on my list. It was put out in 1995.
Really? It's that? I didn't know it was that. That explains why it's hard to find in print.
Yes.
I didn't realize.
And I'm sorry.
I don't have the years. I'm sorry, you guys. I wasn't as prepared as.
I find it interesting to know. And this game is so hard to find. So I hate doing that because I hate it when I watch reviewers and they're like, "Oh,
this is the best game ever," and no one. It's
you can never find it, and if you do, it's $5,000 in your firstborn child. Yeah. So I don't ever want to do that. But my number 23 is Mystery of the Abbey. This game is so great because it's a kind of like a souped up version of one of my favorite kind of non-designer games, Clue. Mm-hmm. I love Clue. I played Clue Junior as a kid. Used to whomp on my sister. She got so mad.
Sorry.
I loved Clue. My husband didn't understand how deduction worked. We were playing Clue. I'm like, you don't just make new guesses every time. You take what you know to leverage what you don't. No. The thing about Mystery of the Abbey, it's still the same. There's a monk that has been killed and you're trying to figure out the murderer. However, the gameplay, I think, is so much more open.
Yeah, I would agree.
You move into a room with someone else and you don't just, pose, okay, this is who did it. Because you've got a whole big list of monks and, the artwork's really cool.
That's pretty fun, yeah.
It's awesome. So you go in and you can ask them anything you want. Do you have a fat Franciscan friar marked off on your list? Anything.
Yeah, you have these great little lists that you're marking. You're like, well, that guy's innocent. Oh, this guy's a little sketchy. That's fun.
Yeah, so they've got all these monks. It's like Guess Who meets Clue on this board.
Yeah.
Because you've got bearded monks and bald monks and monks with hoods and monks with staffs and skinny monks and fat monks. So you've got all of these different kind of monks and you can ask any question. Mm-hmm. And so the person in the room can respond to you, but then everyone else hears your question. So you want to maybe phrase your question a little bit better, or if the person doesn't want to give away the information, they can take a vow of silence and not tell you. But if they do tell you, they can then ask a question in return. So you're getting more information. There are cards and special events that happen throughout it that keep you moving around, that help you get new information. That I think makes it really easier. You can go into other monks' cells and steal cards from them.
Snoop around.
Monks are snoopy. Apparently, in this game they are. I really, really love this game.
I like this. I'm terrible at this game. Oh. I never know I'm like, this is fun, but I don't know who did it. I mean, that's how I am.
And there's a little bell to ring with it for mass, so that's just the best part about it. So that's my number 23, Mystery of the Abbey.
Cool. My 23, we're going to start, you will notice a theme of I heart tile games. If you go, Kim, this one has tiles, I'm like, I'm in. Just take my money. I finally started to dial it back a little bit so that at least they're a little bit different. So this is one that lives on their shelf, not at home.
Oh, we do.
But it's a Sarah.
Yes, it's a Ravensburger
game, which I also am a huge fan of.
Yes.
So Michael Kinsling and Wolfgang Kramer, I believe, are the designers of this game. So we played this one, and you are building towers.
Oh, yes, the towers.
So you're going around, and you're having to buy the different pieces, and you're trying to build more towers than the person next to you are trying to build more towers. And it was just very satisfying to me, and it's, what's kind of fun is, like, it's trying to get to the pieces that you need before somebody else does. Mm-hmm. Because then the cost goes up, and they're harder to get. And they're all different designed. There may have been a few funny jokes made about
looking towers.
There's some questionable looking towers in there. But the gameplay itself I thought was very simple. I didn't think that it was hard to understand at all. It had tiles, which totally I'm in.
I never thought of it as a tile game until you said that. I was like, oh, it's just a...
It's almost like a set collection on top of it. Because, I mean, you've got to build... I have to go here. You have to go to different places to be able to get the pieces for that particular tower.
Right.
And so there'll be different colors that come up, and if you don't have any of those, well, then you're out of luck. And then you're hoping that you can get to it next time before that piece is gone, and then that's as high as you're going to get your tower. So you're trying to build it all the way up. You probably won't get all of your tower. I don't know that any of us got all of our towers built.
No, there's always one.
And there's gold inlays, so you're trying to hurry and get to some of the pieces that have gold inlays on it because they're more highly desired. Everybody likes those ornate pieces better. So, yeah, Sarah is my number 23.
And I know
that may be one I'll do a game spotlight on.
Yeah, we played it a couple times, and
I've always enjoyed it when I played it.
Huh.
Like, it was one that I was like, yeah, if you ask you, and it's not one that I don't see it out a lot, so I hope that it's not one that's, I'm telling you to go get one that's out of print. But anytime I'm like, I'll play that one. Like, I'm happy to give that one a shot. So
I don't think it's that hard to find, actually. So
we don't have it. We just borrow here.
Just take ours.
I don't know that one would play as well 2-player. I feel like the more people you have in it, the more challenging it is to get the tiles.
That competitiveness.
So that is the struggle with a tile game.
Right.
I have had a hard time finding some that necessarily play with 2.
It's true. Okay, my number 22 is I love this
game. One of my favorite games.
Castles of Mad King Ludwig. So this has been out for a couple years. Gosh,
this is what made me become addicted to tile games. It was this one.
I don't necessarily like tile games, but I love the idea of building my own castle. And so, like, I don't like games that are like spatial, like dominant, where you have to fit things in different spots.
I feel like this one isn't as bad for that for you, because you're just trying to match up the doors.
Right, you just match up doors. And what I love about this game is, so you've got all these different rooms that are out there, and so the king, each time you play, it's mixed up what the king really wants, and that gives you extra points, but you can really get anything because you're getting all kinds of points from all kinds of rooms. So I just get like obsessed with the rooms. I'm like, oh my gosh, the buttery is out. I don't know what a buttery is, but I want it.
Yeah. Or you have the dungeon rooms. It's super fun because you can build stairs up or down.
The basement rooms are my favorite. I'm always like, I need a dungeon, and there's one called like the pit, and I'm like, ooh, and then
you have a pit in a castle.
Next to the pit, there's like the secret lair. I'm like, oh, the secret lair. So I like organize all the dungeon, and then I'm like losing terribly, but I got,
because you're kind of doing your own thing and hoping that somebody doesn't take that tile that you want,
right?
Because they move down the line and become cheaper, and so you're trying. I only have so much money. I really want to buy that one, but I also know that Katie wants it because it's the buttery and she goes after it every time. So I may play more for it to go because I want it in my castle.
Well, that's the neat thing is they have like this master builder concept where the master builder moves around each person and you arrange the rooms that are available. And you basically set the price as the master builder.
That's kind of cool.
So if there's something I really want, like, oh man, I want like the pit, like real bad.
The pit is great.
So I'm gonna make the pit cheap. But if I make the pit too cheap, then Kim's gonna buy the pit and I'll get the pit. And I know she likes the pit too. So then I'm like, oh crap. But then also as a master builder, if I'm a master builder, I get the money that people pay for. So if I make a bunch,
you need it,
and you need it to buy stuff later. So sometimes I want to make things more expensive, but then if they're too expensive, people won't buy them, and I'll get nothing. Yeah.
And then you can't buy the pit next time because you're broke.
Right. So I love that kind of strategy. The thing about this, like, there's an expansion out called Secrets.
Yep, we have that one,
which I have not played yet, and I would really like to.
We have not played it a ton. Like, I'll have to bring it over because we haven't played it with the expansion a ton. and adds a few new things.
And then there's also kind of the sequel game, The Palace of Mad King Ludwig.
Which is also fun. It's more cooperative.
I haven't played that.
I demoed it at Origins because I was like, well, I'm totally in because I love castles. Yeah. And it's interesting. The scoring on it, I think, is a little more complicated. The scoring, and that's probably my only complaint about castles, is the scoring is a little confusing.
It is. I agree.
And I think it's more confusing in palaces. Ooh, okay. Because you're cooperative. So you're like, well, that's my room, not your room. So you got these little pieces that you put on it. And then once the room is closed, then you flip it to the other side. It's just, and I don't know how else they could have done it. So I'm not saying that they chose poorly. It can just be a little confusing. But I like the whole concept of the moat that's going around in palaces. So you're running out of time cooperatively. If the moat closes, the game's over. So you're still trying to...
Which I like that castles is more open. I feel like I have a lot of time to build
I'm just building my castle.
I don't have to worry about... I don't have to worry about your crap. I just build mine. But I can see the scoring is a little difficult. Sometimes it can be confusing. And also, I feel like castles really needs a storage solution.
Yes, I would agree.
Because to set it up every time is just crazy. And I've been at Jason over and over again, we need to get the Broken Token set where I stick all the rooms in there and you just set it out and you play it. So Broken Token, if you want to send that to me, I'll review it.
Oh, man, happy to.
It's amazing. Love it.
I do love. There's not an insert we bought from them that we didn't love.
Or if you just want to spam Jason at the Boardgame Mechanics and say you need to buy your wife the insert for Castles of Mad King Ludwig, that would be great too.
We take board games as Valentine's gifts.
Yeah, that's fine.
Christmas gifts, birthday gifts. It's fine.
So that's my number 22, Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
So my 22, I'm pretty sure is also a crossover on your list. The first of many, another game type that I really enjoy is a deck builder.
Me too. Love deck builders.
So, Ascension, who just missed the cut, was actually my first deck builder that I ever played. But Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle is my number 22. I was so stoked when this game came out.
Yes.
One, because thematically, you want a good Harry Potter game.
Right.
And I find out, and occasionally whenever they try to put a theme like that on a game, point of observation, Princess Bride. We just talked about that on the website or on the Facebook group today. Yeah. Princess Bride is one of my favorite movies. I don't feel that there's a great game to showcase it. Yeah. So I was apprehensive at first, but Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle is incredibly fun. I enjoy that you unlock each year. So you can play it a couple of different ways, but we have preferred to you start in year one. And so this is all that you have available to you as you are a year one student, and your adorable little character cards of Harry and Ron and Hermione and
Neville.
Neville is the other one. They're adorable because they're the first year students. And what's cool is as the game progresses, those boards will change. So they'll get some extra abilities. They'll be older versions of the characters. So you're going through the entire franchise with it.
It's so thematic.
It's incredibly thematic. The cards are great. We have not made it past year 3. Because there's a debate between us that we haven't looked up. So you guys play it differently than we do.
Yeah.
Jim, my husband, found you have to get rid of the cards that you buy. I almost get it after year 1 because you forget what you learned in school. By the time I'm year 3, if I don't have those flipping cards, that's why we can't win. So we need to actually go look up a newer rules reference and see what is the appropriate way to.
Well, I think part of it is what we did is we just went for broke. We played all the years.
Yeah.
Opened them all, played straight up, taking on Voldemort, Horcruxes, everything right off the bat.
That's kind of cool. And that's what's so cool about it. So when you're done, you can choose to separate everything back into year by year, or you just play it as one big deck builder. Mm-hmm. So it's got almost a legacy feel to it because you're kind of excited about what's coming in the next year's box.
Oh, yeah.
But it is absolutely a game that you can just mix together and play once you're done going through the years.
And different stuff comes out each time. So the villains come out in different order. You can when you choose different characters, they have different special abilities. Yeah. You get different allies that come out. It's just I love it because I'm total Potterhead.
Oh yeah, Hufflepuff for life.
Gryffindor. Please.
So yeah, this is, and I think the only reason it's not higher on my list is because we can't get past year 3. So we got mad and chucked it back on the shelf. There is an expansion for it. I think we do not have the expansion.
I do have it on the shelf.
So that's one I would like to give a try.
We got it.
It's a fun
Break it
one.
out.
So I highly recommend Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle.
All right. My number 21 is a game that I love, and Joel from the Boardgame Mechanics has actually given me a little bit crap about this game.
I don't think I know this game.
Oh my gosh, we gotta play this. So my number 21 is Rococo. And Rococo came out, it's been, I don't know, like 4 or 5, almost 5 years now. And Matthias Kramer has done some other really great games. And actually, he teamed up with Louis and Stefan Malls, who, they had another big game in Boardgame. I can't remember who did this. What game they did. It was a hugely popular game.
I don't think it's on my list.
I can't remember. Sorry, guys. I'll think about it later.
We'll add it in the comments.
So Rococo has a theme of you're in the time of Louis XIV.
Okay.
So there's this he produces lavish stuff going on in Versailles, and you are a dressmaker, and it has. I don't know that you've. I don't know. I don't think you have. So it almost has a deck building theme where you have a deck of different kinds of employees. Okay. So you have like a master, like tailor. Okay. And then you've got some apprentices that kind of know what they're doing, and you've got the journeymen that are a little bit more experienced. Mm-hmm. And so they can each do different types of jobs for you. Okay. So there's
getting it confused with Shakespeare. I think that's why I was thinking it sounded familiar.
Yes. There are lots of things. There are lots of similarities between this and Shakespeare, actually. And so there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of really tough choices you have to make in Rococo. So you can make these dresses. So you're like collecting, you have to collect cloth. So you have to be able to go to the market, get cloth, get lace, get thread. Wow. To make certain types of dresses.
I've heard you talk about this.
It's so fun. So then you can decide, am I going to sell a dress to get money because I need money to buy more cloth? Mm-hmm. Or am I going to put it on display in this big palace and then get points later? And then where you display them, there's almost like a area control of different levels of the palace that give you points at the end. Okay. You can also buy decorations and musicians and fireworks that all go into this big ball that add up your points. So it's like point generating, and the choices are crazy in this game. And there's an expansion called Jewelry Box where you're adding jewelry, and I think you can add extra player with that one too. And honestly, like, this is freaking ridiculous that there are some people that will not play this game because it is a girl-themed game.
Oh, it's
just about silly. Dresses. That is stupid. This game
I play all your boy games. It's
mentally challenging. It's so great.
Well, think about it. How many tailors? Tailors aren't just women.
Right. And traditionally, tailors were men.
Tailors were men.
And so I'll get off my high horse about that. But Rococo is such a good game. Thinky without being overwhelming. Fantastic. So 21 Rococo.
Yes, we will have to try that one. I like it.
It's good. It's fun.
So number 21 on my list was my very first Kickstarter. So I was super apprehensive, but I actually saw a playthrough on Man vs. Meeple. We tend to seem to agree. Like, I agree with a lot, especially when it comes to Kickstarter. So I'm like, let's do it. I'm pulling the trigger. And it was actually kind of exciting.
I was so scared when you backed
to watch it go through the whole process. But I don't know that I want it now. Like, I ordered it, so I would like for it to come tomorrow. I don't care that you're still printing it.
Right.
But my number 21 is Unfair from Simon Games, Joel Finch. And you're building a theme park. This game can have a very take that aspect to it if you want to play it that way. Right. Which I think adds to the game, because we're not really a take that kind of group. No. Typically, I mean, occasionally I'll knock over your table. You know, every now and again. Usually we just gang up on Jason.
He deserves it.
That usually is what happens. But this one, I mean, you're picking themes, and the Kickstarter did come with some additional themes. There is a vampire theme. There is a cowboy theme. There's a gambler theme. Ninja. And we haven't even played through yet. Ninja theme. So you're theming your park based on that. And cool. You're getting cards each round, and we did play it wrong kind of the first time we played it, but
yeah,
whoops,
we figured it out later.
And so you're building your park, you're upgrading stuff. So if you have a movie theater in your park, now you have premium seating on top of it, and then those score later on. Mm-hmm. So about halfway through the game, the city is helping you build your park. Mm-hmm. There's things that are going on that the city is like, oh, cool, you get this, you get this, you get this, and then about halfway through, then they start making it harder on you. So it's almost. And then, if you are doing that, take that, that's when there are cards that you can pull that are either beneficial to you on the top, or you can close down someone's attraction on the other side. So you're like, I think that you're making a little too much money over there with your roller coaster. Ka-thunk.
Right. Oh, and you failed an inspection.
Yeah. So so you can get very cutthroat with it. I've seen them do tournaments with it at Origins.
Oh, yeah.
And I signed up for one. And then I backed, and then I didn't do it because I'm like, everyone's going to beat me up. And we usually play it really nice.
Hey,
I'm going to be nice to all these strangers, and they're going to tear up my part. So
honestly, I don't know if we play it really nice. It's just those cards that you have the option of.
I like the option of me.
I want to help myself. So I'm like, I'm not going to mess with your crap because I'm like wanting to
because
get
it's
roller coaster.
usually really good for you on top of it.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get your one. I think you can only have one major like one big, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
It's been a little bit since I played it. I apologize.
No, you get one like super attraction or something. I think
and what's so cool is a lot of times like the artwork on the cards is amazing.
Cool.
Really cool. So to say I never head back to Kickstarter, I didn't know what I was going to get. I watched it upgrade through, as it got back. It has all the components of the game are amazing. The cards are nice and thick. The artwork is amazing.
The turn marker is my favorite.
The turn marker is a little roller coaster.
So cute.
A little roller coaster card with people with their hands up in the air.
That's awesome.
The cards laid out together a lot of times will form one scene. Like
it does
so
look really cool.
That's super fun. You can hire mascot people or costume people, so you're hiring staff on top of building your rides. Yep. It's just, and I wanted a fun theme park game.
Yeah.
That's the only one that we own, and so that's. But if you can find it, it's such a fun game, and it's beautiful. I think the artwork on it it's up there, one of my prettiest favorite games.
It's very fun. I really like that game.
So yeah. Unfair.
All right, my number 20 is another deck builder. So, like Kim, I really like deck builders.
They're so fun.
And actually, is this the first deck builder I ever played?
I feel like maybe you would have played Ascension with us prior to this. You didn't play Ascension?
I didn't play it till we went to Nova.
Oh. Huh. Maybe it is.
I don't know. Anyway,
it's probably one of the earlier ones that we played.
Right. Number 20 is Marvel Legendary. So again, it's a deck builder, and the thing I love about it is growing up, I have always been a super nerd. So I watched a lot of shows like the X-Men cartoon. Great. Man, I'm a 90s kid. Well, I was born in the 80s, but I grew up in the 90s. Loved that show. Obsessed with it. My dad had comics. I had like trading cards. Comic books. My dad used to take me to comic shop as a kid. Yep. So I love Marvel. I'm not a DC person. I'm a Marvel girl all the way.
Sorry, DC.
Sorry, I have nothing against you.
I've tried. I watched Batman, the animated series. That's about all I got. That was it. The rest of it, it's all Marvel.
Yeah. So this is a great deck builder where you get to be those characters that I love. And there's so many choices. There's tons of expansions.
So many expansions.
A bajillion. You can even play as the villains, which is like a whole nother kind of base deck game, which I think is awesome. So you get to pick I forget how many heroes that you pick. 6, 8.
Yeah, it kind of depends on it. And you definitely want to follow the first setup, the first few times that you're trying to play this game, because then otherwise you're getting stuff that isn't balanced very well. Once you're more familiar with it, you can start. They do this hero partners with these villains, so you're still kind of mixed.
Right.
That's the only thing I don't love about this game is the setup can be a bit time consuming.
I think with a lot of like in-depth deck builders, you get that.
Yeah.
So I've kind of gotten over it, but I always pick like the X-Men. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna play Rogue and Storm and Gambit. Oh my gosh, Gambit. Anyway, so you get to be those heroes, and you're drafting them into your deck so you can fight these villains, the villains that you've seen around. Kingpin or I'm trying to think what are those big like Sentinels? The Sentinels. All those, and so it's cooperative, but yet you also end up getting your own points that you can win as well at the end because you're trying to help rescue like innocent bystanders.
Yeah, and there's there's like sub villains that are going through there that are going through parts of the city, and if too many of them get through, you all lose.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of at least work together, or else everybody's going to lose.
And killing those guys gives you points as well. Towards
the mastermind is like the big villain that you're trying to get, and it takes a while for you to build up to even be able to try to attack him.
Yeah, because you start with some, as always.
Yeah, I would say this is, in my opinion, this is not a super quick one. I think we made it through one of our lunch hours. I took this to work and played. But we played the setup that was in the game just to introduce everybody to it. Was able to pretty much get through it, but I think that was the initial one. I think another day would probably take you longer.
Yeah,
that's including the setup though,
which does take a while. For me, like. I love deck builders anyway, and then to have this great theme on top of it, it's a fun one. And the fact that it came out published by Upper Deck, like
normally, this was a big surprise a few years ago when they came out with these.
Normally, I'm thinking baseball cards and everything that I have.
Upper Deck, yeah. When I was a kid, Upper Deck made baseball cards.
Right, but they did a great job with my number 20. So Marvel Legendary.
Yep, and if you if you don't like Marvel, there are other themes. There's an Aliens versus Predator theme.
Oh yeah.
There is a Big Trouble in Little China. There's a Firefly theme that I was so excited for, and the
artwork is rough.
But they all play kind of similar. So, my number 20 is World's Fair 1893.
I haven't played this yet.
So, this is a Renegade Games. Renegade, you get so much of my money. So much. J. Alex Cavern. I love this game because I'm a history buff. Yeah, so I enjoy historical things. I have way more fun in this game reading every single solitary tiny card because it is all exhibits from the World's Fair in Chicago from 1893. And so they're out there, and so most people like Jason, who loves themes. You're just set collecting. This is a set collecting game. You're putting your colored stuff out there. Like you're kind of picking, okay, I'm going to go here to these types of exhibitions and things like that. And so because you have all these cards you have in your hand, that I want to be able to get this exhibition open. You're almost kind of rallying for these to be a part of the World's Fair.
Okay, nice.
So that's why. So you're trying to have the most colored little cubes in each section to be able to play that colored card. I'm bad because I'm sitting here reading all the stuff about the cards. I'm like, oh, there's a Hershey's and there's the. I need to put a thing over here. I love the thematics of this game. The artwork is also another one that I love. The artwork in this game. Well, and it's a really cool Ferris wheel. Is the main board. So it's laying out, and then all of the different types of exhibitions are around it. And then as the game progresses, you've got a little marker that's actually moving around the Ferris wheel.
I've heard great things about this game. Like Jason, who does not care about theme or really history.
It's a great set collection game.
The mechanics really stand up. And I've heard great things about the way it looks. I haven't played it.
I don't know why. I don't know how you weren't engaged when we played it here. And what I like about it is the board is like 2 to 3 players on one side, and then you flip it. You can do more players on the other side. So it makes it for a little bit longer time because every time you take a particular action, buying tickets and that kind of stuff, it moves. This is another one. Joel may beat me too doing a game spotlight on this one. He was super stoked about this game too. But depending upon how quickly you move around that Ferris wheel. Yeah. So it varies in time. I'd still say this is probably a half-hour, 45-minute game. Fairly easy to teach because you're just set collecting. But if you like history and you enjoy that kind of thing, the cards are super cool.
Yeah, I really need to play this.
It's a fun game.
All right, number 19. Oh, look, another deck builder. I
thought I would have more deck builders. Maybe mine are no. And
I've still got more. I've still got at least 2 more.
I love them, but apparently my tile games beat it out.
Your tile games. Okay, so deck builders. My number 19 is Hero Realms.
This is a fun one.
Hero Realms is a great deck builder, super accessible.
It's my favorite one out of that series of those because they have Star Realms too.
I'm not into space, so Hero Realms has that fantasy theme. I'm not into space, so it's deck builder. And I've played it a lot at 2 players, which is mostly duking it out. Too. And I feel kind of bad because I play against Jason, and I have beat him every single time.
I tend to pummel Jim with this.
Every time. And it's not... One time, I beat him in 2 turns.
That's so funny.
Completely, decimated him.
Because you're picking up champions, and so if you get a champion out, well, now you have to beat that champion before you can attack me. Right.
Yeah, it's great.
It's fun.
You pick... There's, they've got, basic expansions, which gives you different characters you can be.
Like a thief and
a cleric and a wizard and a fighter and... I forget. Oh, the number. I've got them all over there on the shelf. And so I even tried playing different ones. Mm-hmm. So
they're pretty well balanced, honestly. Yeah. Because we have all those expansions too, and I think overall it's a very well balanced game. It just depends on how you play it.
Yeah, and it's super fun. We played it once as a free for all with. Were there 4 of us?
Maybe. Yeah.
You mean
yes.
Nate and Ruben. Free for all. It was insane.
There was a lot of ganging up.
Yeah, and then a lot of being told that I'm playing wrong, or I don't know what I'm playing, and then I'm like, no, I'm going to kill you. I obviously know how I'm playing.
Yeah. Now, there was... I did not get a chance to see it at Origins. I tried every day to get there to see this new cooperative.
We have it.
I haven't got to play it yet. Every day from Wednesday... Well, they didn't have it on Wednesday. Thursday to Sunday, every day I was like, I'm going to go see this. And all I ended up doing was ending up at their booth and signing up for a Star Realms tournament that I did horribly in. The poor guy that I was playing against is a high competitor in it and has won some stuff. So he took mercy on me and was like, all right, here's what you need to be doing. And I'm like, okay.
You're not doing.
So, and it's the exact same game, the same concept, but I couldn't.
It's space, man.
It did not cross over in my head. I certainly prefer Hero Realms.
So there is, and even within just the base, there's different ways to play with groups of people that I actually didn't know about until I was doing some research. But we also got, there's either there's a co-op boss mode where you can fight with other people against these bosses.
Oh, that's cool.
Or there's like a campaign kind of.
I think it's the campaign mode I'm thinking of that.
So we have that. I have not played it yet. I don't know why.
We're very D&D-esque. Yeah, so when Jason and his shelf the other day said there's some D&D, we can explain to you what that is.
Yeah, except I hate us, so I fall down a lot. It's fine. But this gives that D&D feel, but at a very accessible level with that building. And there's lots of different ways to play it, so I just love it.
Yeah, there's a lot. I feel like there's something for everybody in that game.
Yeah, 19 Hero Realms.
Nice. All right, my number 19 is a game that Katie hates.
I don't hate it.
I brought it over the other day. I pined for this one. You'll see, I like pretty games. It's just, I appreciate, let me say it this way. I appreciate good artwork in games. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
So, my number 19 is a new release, Sagrada, from Floodgate Games.
Call the new.
Managed to pick this one up at Barnes & Noble. It has been a hard-to-grab title. So I saw it and I went, I don't know. And then, of course, every time as soon as you decide you want it, so did everybody else.
Right, and you can't get it.
And lo and behold, Jason, of all people, had spotted it. So I went to our local Barnes & Noble and picked up one. And this is a dice drafting game. I'm not a huge, card drafting I don't love. For some reason, dice drafting I'm okay with. It's the same concept. I don't know what. But you're building these stained glass windows. And there are various levels of cards. So there's a nice little grid within this. And you can range, it goes all the way up to level 6. Yeah. And actually they were giving out a promo card at PAX. The one that was down in Texas. So PAX South, I think. That is the hardest card that you can get.
Oh my gosh.
A friend had it and I saw it. It looks impossible. So what's cool about those cards is you're not just, I guess you could play without it if you wanted to start at the simplest level, or even if you were playing with kids. They're stipulations. So now you can only put a 5 here, maybe in this block. Well, you can only put a red one in this block. You can only put a 4 over here. And so it starts getting more and more complicated because the card is telling you what you have to put in certain places. You cannot put a die next to each other, either vertically or horizontally. You can go...
That's the same number.
Yeah, you cannot have the same color or the same number. Now, you can go diagonally, so they can match up that way, and it's okay. And everybody gets their own color, or one card that this color is extra special to you, so you gain extra points for it. And there are usually 3 different goals. And those can change from each game, so that gives a little more replayability. You're not always going for the same goal. And then there are usually 3 tools that also change, that vary from game to game. So a tool may let you break a rule, or move a die. And so far, I've played this game several times, and every flippin' time so far, I have managed to put one die next to one on my card that's also the same number. So
I don't hate this game. I don't like it necessarily, but I played it. It is really pretty. The dice are all these pretty rainbow colors, and that's so girly of me, but it looks good. It looks nice. And I like stained glass windows, so thematically I think that's great. It's just a little too abstract for me, and I don't really like abstract games.
Overall, I think it's a fairly easy one to... We've taken it to different folks who maybe aren't as avid gamers necessarily as we are, and this is fairly easy to teach.
I think there's another game that's sort of similar called Role Player that we talked about with Joel. That is a similar concept where you're drafting dice to fill out cards, but it has more of a theme.
Yeah, I think it has. I think that one's a little chunkier, and that actually may be one that we add.
Yeah, I'd like to try
this is one, and we do keep games in our collection that are specifically that we can help introduce other people to gaming.
For sure.
So this was a good entry one, and it's a fun light game if you're just looking for something light to play. Yeah. So my number 19 is Sagrada.
All right, number 18. Oh, my number 18. I was looking this up earlier today on BGG, and it is rated a 4 point something weight.
Really?
It's weight is a seriously complex game, and I thought, if it's that complex, how can I understand it?
Well, you're fairly smart.
I'm a smart individual, but I don't play a lot of deeply strategic games. But my number 18 is Tricerion, Legends of Illusion.
I have not played this yet.
I can't believe I haven't played this.
You have it, and another friend has it, and I still have not managed to be around when it comes to the table.
Surprised Jason hasn't forced you on this. Jason loves this game. So, it came out, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and has this really great theme, which is why I was into it when Jason wanted to play it, because he wanted to play it because it's like super heavy. He loves these super heavy Euro games, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I would have to say the theme totally caught my attention.
It's like they had a couple movies that came out, like The Prestige and The Illusionist, that came out around the same time a couple years ago, and it's this like kind of old school, turn of the century kind of feel, with you are a master illusionist, and so you are recruiting helpers. You can get a lovely assistant, you can get an engineer, you can get a manager to help you, you can get some funky apprentices, and you're trying to build up your rapport, like with these assistants that can work in certain ways. And then you want to get like a repertoire of, these are the tricks that I know. And you each kind of have like a specialty type of illusion. So you go to the market, you have to get stuff like, okay, if I'm going to make doves disappear, I need some freaking doves. Or if I'm going to levitate somebody, I'm going to need like some like rings to put them through or whatever. And rope. So you go get those items. You're also going to the banks to get money to buy the items. And then not only do you have to learn the tricks, then you have to present them. So you have to book your stage and the time on the stage. And so all those different things. And there's also within the base game, there's a little expansion that's like Dark Alley, so you can do some kind of shady stuff there. And they actually have an expansion that we do have. I can't remember if Jason and I played with it.
I've seen it.
That adds like some, we have with it, extra elements that's like rotating around stuff that can happen, events that can happen and things during the game. There are a lot of moving pieces in this game, so I get why people think it's heavy game, but it's not inaccessible. Like that theme, I think, really carries through. So you're like, oh, it makes sense that I want to
go here today.
Yeah, that I need, and it's got that mechanism where you plan out where you're going to go for the day. Simultaneously. And then you act them out. Well, there's only a certain number of spaces. So is my person going to get there? And then some of your workers are smarter than others. So they kind of can do things better. There's just a lot of great stuff. It's a really great game. So if it's cool. It's just a cool game. And look, the artwork is fantastic. It has like that kind of steampunk almost.
Yeah, I like the artwork on this game a lot.
It's just a cool game. So 18 is Trickerion, Legends of Illusion.
My dad was a magician. So you're talking about like the rings, and I was like, I know how those.
Your dad's been a lot of things.
My dad's been a lot of things. Hi, Dad. So number 18 is a game that Katie and Jason got me for my birthday.
That's your birthday.
And I honestly think most people look at this and go, like it's whatever. But my number 18 is Bob Ross, The Art of Chill. So it's a big G Creative Games, Prospero Hall, I believe. One, you can have so much fun with just the box because it's Bob Ross's face.
I'm gonna pull the box out.
It's totally worth it. It's Bob Ross's face.
I mean, like his
his
fro has happy little trees in it.
And I'll be honest, I was very unsure about this whenever I saw that it was first announced. And you went, how are they going to make a game about painting be entertaining? I loved Bob Ross as a kid. I spent many an afternoon or weekend watching him paint on the joy of painting. So I'm like, all right. And it was a birthday present, so I didn't invest any money in it, right? But this is one of the best little set collection games I think I've ever played.
It's so great.
It wasn't a matter, they built a good game and then got to put a good theme with it. They didn't just, let's make a game about Bob Ross and then sort of put a game together.
Right.
So there are different options of Bob's paintings that are up on an adorable little easel.
It's really nice.
There is a tiny little Bob meeple that is also painting with you, sort of. So he's moving along the picture. There are Bob cards, and you roll you roll a die.
A Bob dice.
A Bob die. So if you have to he will move through the painting. You're trying to paint this faster than he does. And I believe faster than what your opponents do. The first time I played it, I think we're just trying to beat Bob.
Yeah, you get more points if you paint before other people.
So it's set collecting because I have a row out here of different paint colors as well as brushes. And I can only use a card for one or the other. So you have to plan accordingly because it'll tell you the happy little trees take these 3 colors and this brush to complete. So I have to put them on my palette. And then when I'm done, I have to clean my palette. So you can't necessarily build ahead.
Right.
You've got to keep your colors separated. So there's some strategy to it.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you accidentally put a card in the wrong spot, now you got to clean the whole thing. And if you were building towards something else, now it's gone. So we have loved this game every time we've played it. It holds its own. It was one that you would see at Target. Yeah. And Target's been coming out with some games that they're okay. This one's fantastic. So I highly recommend this.
And it's super accessible. Like, it's great for gamers that, we play lots of games, obviously, enough to have top 100 lists or whatever. But I was talking about this game with a woman that I work with, and she was like, "Oh, that sounds kind of good." She went out and bought it. She played it drove her husband nuts. Played it every night while she was off in the week between Christmas and New Year's. Friggin' obsessed with it. And she hardly plays any games. She was playing Uno and Rummy Cube or something. And I told her to pick up this game. Super accessible. It's just so great for all different levels.
And you're generally going to find it for $25 or less.
Yes.
Target will run it on sale pretty often. It's totally worth picking up. I love this game.
And you get to have Bob.
You can't go wrong with Bob Room. So yeah, I think this one will stay on my list for a while. It's simple enough but chunky enough at the same time.
Yes. All right. My number 17 is a completely, I don't want to say 180 from that one, but it's a much older game. It's Agricola. Uwe Rosenberg, like most of his games, he forces you to feed people or you will lose terribly. So Agricola is...
Forget to feed your people. This one will get you.
Right. Agricola is about farming, and we live in a farming community. Yep. I was in FFA, Future Farmers America. Hey.
We drive your tractor to school day.
We did too. So
it hits home. This one hits home.
This is like my wheelhouse. So you have your own plot. You are trying to, you got a house to expand. You can expand your family. You are, tilling the land. You are getting animals. You're making pastures, and all of it is done in this really tight decision making. Like every turn, I can do 2 or maybe 3 things, and I want to do 20.
Yeah, and if I fall behind on one, it's hard to catch yourself back up.
Because you get points for having whatever kind of animal, of, grain and vegetables, of making sure you've got you had at least one kid, and you've got all these different types of housing, and
don't forget to feed them or they'll die.
And you'll get a beggar card and you're going to lose no matter what you do. There's just a lot of stuff going on in this game.
Wonderful game.
The thing that I love the most about this is the version I have has shaped meeples.
Yeah, the components are outstanding.
Oh my gosh. So I got little piggies and little carrots.
You'll totally get me into a game if you have fun little components
that I can play with in between my turns. I'm little pigs in my house.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. But Agricola is just a very classic game. Yep. They have a couple different versions. There's one that's most a card-based one.
There's Agricola Family.
There's Family. There's the expansion for 5 to 6 players, so you can play with a lot of people, and then the choices just get bananas.
Oh, that seems overwhelming. 4 seems like enough for me.
But didn't we play with Ken and
Did we do? I thought we only did 4, but maybe we did do the Family.
The 2 of you, the 2 of us.
Yeah, I guess we did.
There's at least 5. Yeah,
it was. And this is one, it's going to take you a little bit to get through it. This is not a quick game by any means, so.
But I think the fact that every turn
matters.
Every turn matters so much, and I want to make the best choice, and I want to decide how I want to do things. It's going to be a little different than how you do it. What am I going to pursue? Because I only have certain options open to me if you're taking them before me.
Yep.
Just those choices make it so great. So my number 17 is Agricola.
Nice. I like that one a lot. Now, I guess my number 17 is also sort of about farming, but on the other side of the world. So my number 17 is Takenoko. One of the most adorable looking games.
You want to talk about little pieces that are cute.
Ah, man, this game's... But it's good. So you are a little farmer in your little rice... Well, I guess you're not in a rice paddy, but you're growing bamboo.
Yes.
So you're going around, and you gotta move the gardener guy to get irrigation, to grow the bamboo, and you have to have so many pieces, so you're completing your little cards based on how many different colors of bamboo that you have, 2 of pink, 2 of blue, whatever. And then there's this little panda that moves around and eats the bamboo. And I'm telling you, it's totally the panda. Everybody I hear talk about this game. The panda is the one that sucks them in. And it's this adorable little miniature panda. But the game is good. It's thinky enough. It's not terribly overcomplicated.
No. I actually use this as a gateway game for a lot of people.
Yeah, because it's the cuteness of it.
Yes, wins
like
people over.
It doesn't look intimidating. If you drop Agricola in front of somebody, they are going to go running. Right. It's too demanding. This one looks innocent and fun from the get-go. So I agree. Right. It is an absolute great gateway game. And I've just always had so much fun. Maybe it's because it's very lighthearted whenever you play it. Yeah, we're usually playing it with somebody that's first learning it, or just as a fun, relaxing game. But you get these great little figures to move around with your little gardener. And this Antoine Bauza. Antoine Bauza is fantastic. He does. I have a couple of games on his on my list. The other one's coming.
He does some great stuff. And I think that he is so good at that balance between. There are mechanics that are good there, yes, but yet it's still fun and easily accessible.
Yeah, definitely not overwhelming to a new gamer by any means. Oh yeah, but enough. There's enough there that as I'm not a new gamer by any means. I'm a fairly experienced gamer that I'm happy to go back and. If you ask me to play Talking to Cook, absolutely. Let's do it. I'm happy to bring that game to the table.
I'm a big fan. All right, my number 16 is Champions of Midgard.
I love this game.
This is a great game, and I don't even know why I like it because it requires some dice rolling,
and we're terrible at.
Always terrible at. But this Grey Fox Games put this out, and I think I have almost every single game that Grey Fox publishes. It just happened to work out the way. I love all those games.
They do a good job.
So it's Vikings, which is a theme I love, and you have a worker placement aspect to it. There are trolls to fight. There are ships you can get in to go fight. You have to, feed your Vikings. So, you want to get some, roast pig
it's great.
legs.
They're great little
turkey leg
pieces that you have to get. And sometimes you better throw some extra in there because there could be things that happen on your journey and now you don't have enough food.
And the Vikings have to eat, man.
They're a hungry bunch.
They can't fight.
They're a hungry bunch. Yeah.
So there's just a lot of different cool things to do. And so in the combat that you have with some of these different monsters and things, you're rolling the different fighters that you've kind of helped collect. Mm-hmm. So there are different types of fighters, which I think is cool. And some of them are more successful than others based on what you've got on the die. You also have special player powers, which I love in a lot of games. And actually, this game has moved up for me because it has 2 expansions, and we have both Valhalla and the Dark Mountains. And even more than that, we have the play mats. We never buy play mats, never. But this one, totally we got it on sale at PAX Unplugged, and it's this giant mat because both
the game takes up a lot of space.
It does, and so this mat
takes table hog.
It's the base game plus both expansions.
Oh, okay.
All fit on this mat.
So because the game itself is a bit of a table hog, isn't it?
Yes. So you got it all laid out there, and then there's just more things to fight. Nice. And you've got different kinds of berserker die. Fun. It's just a fun kind of like a beat 'em up game, but you're not fighting against each other. You've got lots of other things to fight, and then you're on top of that. How do I get the right fighters to come with me? How do I get the right resources I need? It's just a great game.
Yeah, this is one that I will say a lot, that you can play your game one way. So you can always be the one that's up there rolling the die and fighting. Right. And I can be somebody who's maybe going on ships and going after stuff. You can play this, you can have 2 very different directions that you're playing in this game and still both be successful.
And there's some a secret goal that you have, and you can always get more of those goals, and that's kind of another way to get points. So just a lot of paths to winning, which I think makes it great.
Yeah,
so.
I think that always helps in a game, I think.
Yes. 16 is my Champions of Midgard.
So my number 16, I'm going back to my love of tile games.
Oh my gosh.
So this one is Suburbia. And we have a couple of expansions for this one, but I've just put regular old Suburbia on here. Oh. So, this is not one that gets to the table very often because it's not great with 2 players.
I never played this.
And my house is 2 players. So, but you are building a city. And it's very similar to Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I've heard people say that they don't necessarily agree that you need both in your collection. I think that I'm building a castle and I'm building a city, and I'm not matching up rooms like I am in castles. But I'm kind of putting, you earn more points based on how you're building that city. Okay. So depending upon what kind of tiles you're getting, you may get more money if this is near a park. Or maybe if you want to build airports. So you can go after different tiles that maybe somebody else isn't and still have a very successful city. Scoring can be a little crazy on that one. That's another one you kind of got to watch. Bezier Games, I think, just does that.
Yeah, must have been things.
But I love it. I adore Suburbia. It's one that it's another one that when I can get people to do it, it can be a little overwhelming. Which is why I don't think it makes it to the table quite as often. But I love building my city. Like I said, we have some of the expansions that go with it too, and those rope off the size.
Oh, okay, kind of like
so now I have sides, and so now I can expand past here, and that adds a little more challenge to it.
I've actually never played this, and I think it's because I played Castles first, and I think I like that theme better. Yeah. And I'm super married to theme, which is weird because my husband is like anti-theme.
Yeah, he totally.
It could just be like blank cards with symbols on it and a bunch of like plain cubes, and he's cool. But I want like every little thing to fit in. And so the castle theme for me is great with the different types of rooms. But
you're envisioning it more.
I bet I would probably like Suburbia.
It's fun.
Haven't played it.
It's a good one. And some people, again, you may like the more modern theme of the city, where you're putting airports and parks and buildings and finance buildings, and if somebody else plays one over there, then I get some points over here. So that's just what makes it a little more challenging, I think, to score. But my number 16, almost said it wrong, is Suburbia.
All right, so I'll go to number 15. Number 15 is at least the second game that I have on my list that Kim absolutely hates. And I can't figure out why, because this game is so fantastic.
It's so boring to me.
Oh, you know what? This is Antoine Bauza, so you can take it up with him.
I will. I'm sorry, Antoine. I love all your other stuff. This one just does not rock and roll for me.
And Bruno Cathala.
I should love it. I don't know what it is.
Maybe you're not playing it right.
We tried it at the Board Game Cafe. I don't know. And I don't know if maybe I just played other games that day that outshined this one. Mm-hmm. And I won, and what was so funny is I beat Jim in a way that the guy that was walking around showing me how to play games, I hardly ever see anybody win that way. That's a hard way to win. So apparently I played it great, but it was just...
So without further ado, my number 15 is Seven Wonders Duel. And this has only been out for a couple years. Antoine Bauza, Bruno Cathala, both designers that I really enjoy. We talked about earlier, Antoine Bauza. And Bruno.
I usually love their stuff. I don't know.
This game is so stinking good. So again, like Kim's mentioned, we also play a lot of 2-player games, just because we're the ones that are here. My kids aren't quite old enough to play games with us. We do have people over all the time, so we do play a lot of other games. But at night after work, we'll play some 2-player games. Seven Wonders Duel is one of my absolute favorite 2-player games. So you are drafting cards from these different setup pyramids, and I love that engine building mechanism that you can get where you match symbols. Like if you draft one and the symbol matches something else, you can get it for free later. I like a science win. It's one of my favorites. So there's these science symbols, and if you get several of those, you get some extra little points. I also kicked the crap out of my husband playing this game.
Yeah, I just felt, I guess I just felt that I went, okay, I got all those and I won, and that was the end of it. It was very anticlimactic for me.
My gosh.
I don't know. Maybe I got super lucky that how the cards came out. I don't know.
I just feel like there's so much tension there, because when you take a card in this pyramid setup, you're revealing sometimes 2 more. Right. And it's okay, if I take this card, what am I leaving my opponent to get? And am I okay with that? Or is it something I want? And then in order to build your wonders at the side, the Sphinx or the pyramids, whatever, you have to give up a card. So it's am I going to want that resource? Am I going to want that card later? Or am I going to sacrifice it to build my wonder, because that's actually really going to help me more? So there's I feel like there's great decisions to be made. I'm always trying to rack up the points. Later you get these bigger point cards that are purple, and it's how many brown cards do I have? And I get a point for each of those. Or money is at a premium, so you're always trying to get money. I don't understand. I think we need to play this. Again, I'm trying to convert you.
Just didn't, and I certainly, and I'm not a fan of Seven Wonders either.
Oh no, I don't like Seven Wonders either, and I feel kind of bad that I don't like the regular game. But it's just,
we played it. I remember playing it here, and we're doing the drafting, and we're going around, and then I kept waiting on the next part of the game, and so Jason goes, "Okay, add them up," and I went, "What? That's the what? That's it? Where's no?" And so that's when I went, I guess I don't like. I'm not generally a huge drafting game fan.
Yeah, I don't like the big group game, because I feel like I don't get the chance to see how I can make connections like I can with Duel.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So yeah, my number 15 is Seven Wonders Duel. I will try to make a believer.
Maybe someday.
Someday.
I don't anticipate seeing that sucker move up at all. And my number 15 is one that we just talked about. So my number 15 is Agricola. And so we had played that here and had talked in great lengths about it. But I don't know that there's too much else to say about it.
We really did talk a lot about
it, so I won't go through it again. But yeah, it's a lot of it is that was probably one of my first heavier games like that. Yeah. And I went, I like these.
Yeah.
And so we have expanded. We now have Caverna as well.
I need to play that.
Which you could defend your house from a robber with that game.
It is very heavy. It is very heavy.
We bought it a little too early at Origins and had to pack it around. But it has certainly opened the door for us for actually a couple other games that are on my list coming up. So that's our first 10, and I'm sure you guys are all on the edge of your seats for the rest of our other 15. But you're gonna have to wait till the next video. So
we don't want to give you too much,
guys, for this first installation of That's What She Said.
Hey,
we are so excited to bring you more of our game love.
Yes, and we're so excited to be part of the Boardgame Mechanics, and
super stoked.
Thank you, The Riveted. We give you the highest of 5s for joining us. So stay tuned for the rest of our top 25.
See you next time.
Bye.